Now time for Big D Energy with four-time Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the golden voice of Neil Rule. Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
You know, I was really the first time I was able to meet him. He came out and did. He was kind of on what he used to do, the training camp circuit. And when I was at Dallas, and I met him, he was over talking to Coach Parcells, and that was the first time I got to meet him. Of course, I was a huge fan of John Madden, and so that was pretty good. That was pretty surreal, but obviously a ton of respect and. Thoughts and prayers for his family, but he's just one of those guys, man. He's an icon in our profession, and to do it the way he did it. I mean, you win a Super Bowl, you're a successful coach, and then you go on to really, I mean, he's the name everybody remembers when you come into broadcasting. He's one of those elite, announcers, if you will. So, he's just, man, he's embedded into the NFL, if you will, and Monday night in particular.
Back at it, everybody. The final episode of Big D Energy for 2021 here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. Uncle Terry is in the building here today.
Damn, son, you scared me. I thought you were saying this is the final episode.
Yeah, that's it. Decisions were made, T-Foss, and, one last ride for us.
Oh, damn. For 2021, everybody.
For 2021, everybody. Happy to have you all with us wherever you're watching, listening, however you're doing it. We got Sam in the bowl right now. We have Sawyer in the production booth as well. And, guys, you know how we do it here on the YouTube chat thread as well. You can tap in there. Put your thoughts out there. We'll read those as the show goes on. Our social media handles are on the screen, too. Jump in that way. However you want to get involved, get involved. 93.5, The Roar on the radio side, 99.1 FM, 94.7 HD2 as well. Happy to have T-Foss here in the building. And, guys, we're going to get to it. I know it's the final show for 2021, but it's a big one, T-Foss. Michigan State-Pitt game tonight. Michigan, Georgia, New Year's Eve as well. We're going to do a lot of college football here today, T-Foss. But, I did the show with DMAC yesterday, and I was surprised. We did 40 minutes on John Madden and everything like that. I'm curious, though, just to, we won't spend a ton of time on it. We heard Dan Campbell and his thoughts. Just where were you at when you heard the fact that John Madden died? What went through your mind?
Well, obviously one of the most iconic guys in football. See, I'm old. I remember him as a football coach, as a fat slob going up and down the sideline screaming at referees. But other people know him as the Madden guy, as a TV analyst. So I knew all three. He taught people football, and so sad to hear.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's, we went through kind of all our thoughts yesterday and had the sound of him talking about Barry Sanders and everything. It was very cool. Happy to have everybody again with us, lighting up that YouTube chat thread. As Honolulu Blue Sparty says, did you guys see Adam's turtleneck sweater? Did you guys see it? It was horrible.
Well, I mean, it was one of those. It's like a bulldog.
Who wears turtlenecks?
Cute, Yeah, exactly.
That is a great question. Is the turtleneck sweater dead? 248. No.
Well, probably when I was a kid, I had to wear Dickies. You know what a Dickie is?
No, I don't.
A Dickie is a fake turtleneck that you pull over your head so it looks like a turtleneck, and then it's down here, and then you wear a shirt so you can't see the bottom part of the Dickie, but it looks like a turtleneck.
Really?
There's no way I'd wear a turtleneck or a Dickie.
I'm not on Team Turtle. I have never worn a turtleneck in my life.
Turtleneck is something that your mama makes you wear because she thinks it looks nice and it'll keep you warm so you don't catch cold. A grown man doesn't get up.
Doesn't choose.
I think I'm going to wear a turtleneck today.
And that's where I am, too. Like, you see a lot of people with some of the fashion choices they make it, and I always recreate that when I see it as they walk by, like a guy in a turtleneck. And look, you guys know where I am. ultimately, I don't care. Like, I don't care what you wear. I don't care what you do. As long as wearing what you wear or doing what you do leaves me alone. That's all I care about. If it makes you happy, go do whatever makes you happy. As long as it doesn't, infringe on me or anybody else or anything like that. Cool. Do your thing. With all that being said, when I see someone walk by with a turtleneck, T-Foss, I can't help but recreate their morning where they go to the closet, they grab the turtleneck, they put it on, and they size it up in the mirror, right? And they're like, and then they give the nod, and they're like, all right, we're ready to roll.
Right. But you know what? They're going to be warm the rest of the day. They're not going to be
But sometimes
cold.
it's not worth it, T-Foss.
It's not. But look, what were your other choices?
Anything else?
You probably had a closet full of shirts, and you're like, turtleneck today. I'd rather go with the sweatshirt. I'm wearing my Christmas sweater because, the kids got it for me, so you have to wear it. So there's certain things you have to wear, but you don't have to wear a turtleneck because, A,
you're a grown man.
You're a grown man. B, your woman is not going to buy you a turtleneck. The only person who will probably buy you a turtleneck is your mama, and she's not buying you clothes anymore.
And that's where it is. Detroit Dabber 313 says a clip-on turtleneck, LOL. And that's where it is. Honolulu Blue Sparty says Boys to Men wore turtlenecks in the 90s. Yeah, they made it work. You're right. I do remember that. But here's Stephen Baker. Mama made us wear them for school pictures back in the 70s. So
yeah, that's right.
The streets are confirming your suspicions, T-Foss.
Absolutely. That's Mama. And Mama doesn't have your best interests at heart when it comes to clothing. She wants you to be practical. She wants you to be warm. She doesn't want you to catch cold. So, and Mama doesn't care if you walk out the house looking like, yeah.
Robert says, Neil and T-Foss has obviously never skied before. No, I never have. You ever skied before, T-Foss?
I have not.
I'm not into the winter sport thing.
No, you don't need a turtleneck to ski, though.
Don't you wear like a parka and goggles?
Like that. Like what you wearing right now.
Yeah,
they wear this. And if they do have a turtleneck on, guess what? It's hidden. It's underneath.
And only they know.
Right. Only
Luckily
they know.
For them.
Only they. Yeah, I'm warm today. You know why? Because I'm wearing my turtleneck, and your ass don't know it.
Well, since we're talking about warmth right now, and I think Sawyer really fits this bill, at least what the streets think of Sawyer, anyway, what the people think of Sawyer, they think of him as, this up north Fenton guy that,
he's the king of the north.
He's the king of the north. There is no doubt, Sawyer. Turtleneck, yay or nay, have you ever rocked one?
I have. For skiing, yes, very good use. I'm actually going skiing this weekend, so that's weird. But back in the day, going to a Christian elementary school, you had to wear like a collared shirt or button-up shirt all the time. But if you didn't want to wear that, you could wear a turtleneck. So that was my loophole to wear my Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning jersey. Was I'd wear a turtleneck and then the jersey over it, and they couldn't do anything about it because I had my turtleneck on. So haven't worn them since though.
The turtleneck under the jersey?
Oh yeah, we were looking fly. Not gonna lie. Peyton Manning jersey, white turtleneck going up to there. It was looking good.
I would have been more of a Marvin Harrison guy, I think.
Oh, I had that jersey too,
yeah.
And I had a Dwight Freeney one I got later. So Dwight Freeney was the man. He was sick.
So wait a minute. There is a not a football, but a basketball coach who was rocking the turtleneck last week. He had on a sports jacket. I'm trying to think who it was.
The sports jacket with the turtleneck.
He had the sports jacket and it was a brother too. I'm trying to think who it was.
Maybe I should do that for one of the. I'm actually broadcasting an Oakland game tonight on ESPN Plus and on the radio. Maybe one of our television games, I'll do that. I'll get the turtleneck with the sport jacket.
If you do that, you know what's going to happen. Greg Campbell's going to walk down there and say, Neil, take that off. What are you
well, then I'll do it
with
the sport jacket with no shirt on. Just kind of let the hamburger meat out there, T-Foss.
Okay, yeah, do that. Yeah, you can be like one of Ali's handlers.
This has struck a chord apparently with the YouTube chat thread people. Robert says Neil and T-Foss hating on Rick Ashley. That's it. I'm rickrolling Neil on Twitter. Stephen Baker said Mama didn't care if we got beat up in school. Apparently,
that is true. Can someone on your little chat line over there help us out? There's a black dude who's a basketball coach who rocked the turtleneck and a sport jacket, and he looked ridiculous. I can't remember who it was though.
I don't know. It's just I've never done the turtleneck. I've never even put one on. I've never owned one. I've never thought about owning one. I never tried one on to say, hey, how do I look in a turtleneck? Never.
Do you know what you look like with a turtleneck on? You look like a zit being popped out of the turtleneck. Your head is the zit stuff. That's what it looks like.
Turtleneck under a sports coat's a solid Euro GQ look. I go black and white, Perry Ellis gray.
Not me, man. But you know what? Perry Ellis and those designers, they do weird stuff to get you to look at their stuff.
They do. No, you're absolutely right. Teb Sauce too. Jalen Green wears turtlenecks. So it all comes back to that.
No wonder the Pistons didn't draft his ass.
It all comes back to that.
Does he hate Detroit? But then he'd have to wear a turtleneck around here because it's so cold for him.
I know. It's so cold in the D, Terry. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I know.
No, but we got a big-time show lined up for you here today. As we said, we are not in tomorrow. There will be an Orange Bowl pregame show here, though, on Woodward Sports. Braylon Edwards will be on with Stick and Adam. They'll break down everything. We'll give our breakdowns as well. Michigan, Georgia. But T-Foss, I also have to talk to you about Michigan State-Pitt, the synergy of Central Michigan now being in the Sun Bowl.
I know, but we should go to that.
We better hurry up, right?
See if we can find our, not escorts, if we can find our host. They're probably old and haggard now. We won't want anything to do with them.
You sure, T-Foss?
I'm positive.
You sure?
Yeah.
The memories still, you still have the memories, though.
Yeah, but we don't want to renew any new memories because they probably would ruin everything.
You try to escape those memories now.
Yes.
But we have all that to talk about. And I got a question for you guys, to the audience. This is more, I guess, for the interactive audience. Just from the standpoint of Sawyer approached us about this, and we know there's a faction of you in the audience that are big open wheel racing fans. F1, the Indy cars, all that kind of stuff, all the way into NASCAR and stuff, which I am not. So I'll put it to the people. And it's not going to be scientific or anything like that. It's just going to be a feel thing. Sawyer wants to do a Formula One minute, a racing minute. What's your terminology for it?
Well, just like a little Sawyer's Motorsport Minute,
Motorsport Minute. That's what it was. Sawyer's Motorsport Minute. Okay. This will be a once-a-week thing. That's number one. Number two, I need Sam's help with this in the sound booth. Sawyer will get a 1-minute clock that as soon as he starts speaking, you see it right here over my shoulder. As soon as he starts speaking, that clock runs. And when that clock gets to 0, Sam, the community orders you to shut his microphone. It's over. That's it. It's over.
1 minute.
1 minute.
Can we give him like 59 seconds?
Well, I think by the time, because he can't start speaking about it until the clock starts. So right there, we're buying ourselves out of a second of it, T-Foss. Like,
all right.
We're shrinking the time available. If you guys are for this, and just go ahead, let us know if you guys are for this. If I get yays or nays, yeses or nos, I'm going to size it up. So your fate of your Motorsports Minute is in the people's hand right now, Sawyer.
All right.
That's
like
it. I think that's very fair.
I would say
I
he should
trust the
do that.
people.
We do live in the Motor City.
Exactly.
Right? Every summer, there's 3-4 races in Detroit or in Michigan. You have the 2 open wheel races at MIS. You have a NASCAR race out there. Then you have the Grand Prix in Detroit. So there is interest there, but I think what happens is the media downplays it and doesn't do much with it. So you kind of forget about how important auto racing is here.
Here's the thing with the media, which you have been a part of your entire life.
Yes.
But this has kind of been my complaint, which I'm a part of, I guess you could say. I'm here doing this show and things like that.
No, you are.
The media folk in this town like to do what they know. And they don't want to, the auto racing thing, there's a lot of intricacies to it. It's hard to understand. It's not something you can pick up in a day where you say, hey, I got to go cover this press conference, and you can get well-versed in it in a day. I think that's why they cover it, because they feel as though they have to, not because they put any passion into it, I guess. And we see that with other sports, too, and I'll just leave it at that.
That's pretty true, but there is a fringe crowd that loves auto racing.
There is.
So, but it's still important to this area because Ford is here, and and GM is sort of here, and So it is important to this area because the executives kind of follow it because that's their bread and butter.
No question about that. You know what else is important to this area? Getting down on the sports action. That's right, college football playoff tomorrow, everyone. If you've been thinking about it, if you've been looking at the lines, you see Michigan's plus 7.5, Michigan's plus 8. Wow, I think they can beat Georgia straight out. You know what to do. Go to mybookie.ag and get down, and right now they'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. You heard right. Now, look, MyBookie's with the times. You can deposit in crypto. If you got that crypto account you don't want your wife to know about, TFOS is here, so I bring these things out into the open. You can, withdraw out of that, deposit in your MyBookie account, get down on the college football playoff action. Tons of bowl games going on also. I think we have one going on right now or one kicking off very soon. They're always going on. Peach Bowl tonight, Michigan State, Penn State. Get on these games, everybody. You're going to be watching it anyway. Get a little extra juice. You know what I'm saying? And you can do that with mybookie.ag. They'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000 with promo code Woodward. And then, boom, you're in there. Very slick interface at mybookie.ag. Very easy to see, very easy to navigate all of it. So you can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Double your first deposit with the promo code Woodward. Have a gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-270-7117.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Off and running here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, Uncle Terry, T-Foss in the house. DMAC is off for the holidays, as is Joik. We'll get back at you on the flip side of the calendar. Drew Hunt in our YouTube chat thread. Nolan Richardson, he rocked a turtleneck back in the day, didn't he?
He did, yes.
And he had the jacket on.
And he looked like a zit coming out of his turtleneck.
Yeah, absolutely. Chuck says the guy who's been married for umpteen years giving style tips, LOL. Uncle T-Foss keeps it clean. I mean, you see, he's got the Northern Guard scarf on right now. He's got the hat. Chuck, look, there's one dude in this town. You can't press about that stuff.
I want to have a little color today.
Yeah, I do. I like that, though.
This is my Christmas sweater.
I like that, though. Jay Bear says, slow sports day, huh? No, it's not, actually. Just show of the people. And they want to discuss turtlenecks for a minute, so we're doing it. We're going to get into the college football coming up right now. Let me clean up this motorsports minutes thing. Juice's Ghost, I'm not really into racing, but I'll listen if everybody else wants it. Adam Morency says, I'm down. Honolulu Blue and Sparty says, no F1 unless it's juicy gossip. So note that.
Got some juicy stuff.
Detroit Dabber, yes. David says yes. Let me see what else we got. Jake Wagoner, yeah. It's pretty much yes, universal across the board.
Oh, yeah. People want the motorsport, man.
The motorsport minute. So, all right. So it is a little bit later on in the show then. We'll turn it over. And Sawyer better be ready to go. And you got to bring the heat the first time.
Yeah, sorry, you got to come up with rumors and gossip and fun stuff. You can't be talking about
results and stuff.
Yeah, some guys that nobody's ever heard of. Oh, Benny Smith. Oh, he went from 20th to 3rd and 4 laps, and we don't care.
Oh yeah, no, I got to
talk about Benny Smith's mama or his woman, and they had a little something going on. We care about that. His girlfriend, or fights. We love fights at the track.
Oh yeah,
because racers do fight.
That's
the Bodine brothers in NASCAR used to fight all the time.
Oh yeah, Todd Bodine. They used to hate each other.
And that was fun.
And Sam over there in the sound lab as well. Sam, you're essential to all this. You have to shut it down as soon as it gets to. I don't care if he's in mid sentence or what. You shut it down. All right.
You know what?
That's what I'm talking about.
Now, Sam is lying to us right now because he is such a nice little guy. He'll let him go a minute 15 or a minute 10 or something like that because I just don't want to cut Sawyer off because he's my guy. That's the kind of guy he is.
Oh, Sawyer's awesome. He's my guy. But, like, if Neil Rule and Terry Foster want me to cut it off after a minute, I'll cut it off after a minute. There you go. I like it, Sam.
He's going to let him go $110. Watch.
Juice's Ghost says, can we get the motorboat minute for T-Foss then?
Yeah, I can do that. Which reminds me of a story that I wasn't going to tell today, but I could.
Story time with Uncle Terry Foster coming up in the second hour of the show. That's the headline grabber, everyone. That's the headline grabber. No, but and look, this was a lot of fun and everything like that. But T-Foss, some big football going on in the next 2 days. I haven't really had an opportunity to take the deep dive into the Michigan-Georgia game, which we will coming up in just a little bit. Pitt, Michigan State in the Peach Bowl down in Atlanta. That game kicks off tonight. And I want Michigan State fans, here's what I'm looking for out of Michigan State fans with this. I want it set in stone. I want everybody's thoughts out there because, look, it's interesting to me in that, this whole New Year's Six Bowl thing, they're giving it's on life support right now. Like, nobody cares. Obviously, nobody cares because nobody's playing. But with that being said, T-Foss, this is an ultimate both things can be true thing to me. If you're Michigan State or if you're Pitt, and you win a New Year's Six Bowl. You did win a New Year's Six Bowl. I mean, you did. But at the same time, we know what the situation is as far as the available players for Michigan State and for Pitt on both sides. Do you care if you lose? If you're a Michigan State fan or a Pitt fan, T-Foss, obviously you want to win, and obviously you're going to watch the game. But is the juice there or not?
For me, no. It's not there. And I think it's not there for me because Michigan State is not in the Final Four. Michigan, who happens to be their rivals down the road, are playing the next day in the college football semifinals. So that's why it takes a little bit from me because there is a State of Michigan school playing for a championship. But so, no, I don't care. But part of it has to do with the Stars not playing. Like, I have a Sparty family, and as soon as they said Michigan State was going to the Peach Bowl, they got their little plane tickets and bought their little $5 tickets to the game and everything. We're all excited and everything. And then it came out that Walker wasn't playing, and then they started calling me saying, do you want to go to the Peach Bowl? I'm like, hell no, because then they don't want to go. And so you want to give me your sloppy seconds? No, thank you. You take your ass down there. And plus, aren't you Spartans? Aren't you there to see the Michigan State Spartans play, not Kenneth Walker play?
And that's where, for me, that's why I'm curious about the Michigan State fans. And we're seeing a couple people. D. Smitty says, is K. Walker playing? No, he is not playing. And the same goes for pretty much every star that's involved. That's involved with this game, even on the Pitt side. But I'm getting a couple of comments like snooze on the Matt Carrier says snooze on the Peach Bowl. I don't know if he's a State fan or a Michigan fan or whatever. You know what the story will be with Michigan fans, what they'll say. Obviously, they'll say, snooze on the Peach Bowl and stuff like that. For me, I do see both sides of it because, again, if Michigan State wins this game, even if they don't, they surpassed expectations. They had the Big Ten Coach of the Year in Mel Tucker. They beat Michigan again. And it is a good season no matter what happens tonight. But if they do win, it's still a New Year's Six Bowl win.
Well, yes, but you have to understand, Michigan State has to win the game. Here's why. Michigan State is that little bastard child that people don't really respect, don't really think it's a great program. So if they lose in this state with a rivalry school, they'll get made fun of. Oh, here you are. You get the center stage and you lose again. You lost. You got mollywopped by Ohio State, lost to Pitt without their starting quarterback. So I think Michigan State must win this game simply to save face because it's a program that's, at least in this state, with a majority of fans. I don't think people look at Michigan State like, oh, man, can't wait to see these guys play. In fact, I can tell you for a fact that a majority of college football fans here in Detroit don't watch Michigan State play. Because when Kenneth Walker mollywopped Michigan and ran for all those yards and everything, Michigan fans were saying, well, that's how Michigan State got here because they rode the coattails of one guy. That wasn't true. If you watch Michigan State play other games, Jalen Reed was huge. Naylor was huge. There were other people who bailed Michigan State out. So it was a team concept. Just so happened when they played Michigan, which is probably the first game a lot of people saw them play, it was Kenneth Walker that carried the load.
People talking about the T-Foss sloppy seconds comment. Matt says T-Foss sloppy seconds equals Sun Bowl treatment. I'm bummed no Walker or Pickett. D. Smitty says this will show how good of a coach MSU has. I mean, I guess, like, if you're into it from a X's and O's perspective or things like that. But,
Now get off that. That's not true. Because you have to figure out, does the team actually want to be at these bowls? If Michigan State players are enthused about being in this bowl,
I think they both
play well.
should be, Pitt and Michigan State, because there is, I do buy a lot into what you say, because I feel the same way, that Michigan State, this is an opportunity for them. And they're fighting uphill in the narrative. They just are, based on where we are, based on the media in this town, based on the marketing, all that stuff. The classic stuff that we talk about Michigan State week. All that stuff applies. This is an opportunity for them to say, hey, we got to win over the ACC. We won a New Year's Six Bowl in a year where no one thought we would even make it to a bowl without Kenneth Walker, the guy that you say, was our lone reason that we were here. It is big for that. It is.
And the number 11 is huge in college football. Really, the number 10 is big. If you can win 10 or 11
the
games,
new 10 now.
But now if you can win 11 games because they have the extra game, that's pretty huge for any program. I mean, look at Clemson. Clemson played for the national championship, the last few years. Dabo Swinney last night, when they won,
he was happy, man.
He was happy. He said, none of his players opted out. He was thrilled about that. He got Cheetos up and down his little pull up and everything. I was surprised by that. I'm like, well, Clemson plays for national titles, but you're playing in the Cheez-It Bowl, which I don't even know where the Cheez-It Bowl is. Where was that?
Orlando, right? That's always my default. I just always say they're in Orlando if I don't know.
Orlando. So you got to go Cheez-It, Citrus. And they got some other bowl in Orlando. Orlando's the bowl capital of the world.
They do. The Citrus Bowl, the Cheez-Its Bowl. Used to be the Camping World Bowl, I believe. I don't know. I can't keep them all straight. But they did do a good job of dumping the Cheetos over Dabo Swinney. These sponsors, and look, guys, like we talk about how we don't care about bowls. Look at the run on social media. The Cheez-Its Bowl got. The Hawaii Bowl, they didn't even play it. And people were saying that was the best social media bowl account going. They just took pictures of the empty stadium with nothing going on. I mean, they did a great job with it. The Duke's Mayo Bowl is today. I believe Duke's Mayo is offering a $10,000 scholarship endowment or whatever.
All right, brother,
if the winning team does mayonnaise over the winning coach.
Have you ever had Duke's Mayo?
No, I have
I've
not.
never even seen a jar of it. I don't know what it looks like.
Is it one of those things where it's like a Phillips 66? That used to sponsor
or maybe,
Big 12 basketball.
Maybe it's just a Southern thing, like Dr. Pepper. You couldn't pay me to drink Dr. Pepper, but I hear it's big in the South.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's one of those Southern things. YouTube chat thread. Stephen Baker says, I would have watched if Walker would have played. Matt says, I'm a Michigan fan. I want MSU to win. Only team that never gets my vote is Ohio State, even in the bowl game. Rock Howard says, I'm a Michigan fan. I'd watch if Pickett and KW were playing. Now I could care less about that game. And, I get that, and that is disappointing. That's what kind of sucks about it. Rack says, I think you guys nailed it yesterday in saying, with guys withdrawing from playing all these bowl games, Sawyer, good job on the Duke's mayonnaise on the screen, by the way.
You're welcome.
I think you guys nailed it yesterday saying guys withdrawing from all these bowl games that are in a playoff game would lose their luster, and they do. I get that. I understand that. When people say that they're not going to win, I get it. Dom Rivera, a lot of people are going to hit on these games betting. No one knows who's playing. It's like a week one game where it's going to be rough to watch it. But hey, people fire up that MyBookie account, and they will be out there. There is no question about that because that's how it operates. And if you want to
need to think about something though. Think about this: if Michigan were to play Northwestern, the last week in November. That would be a big game because it's a Big Ten game. And Northwestern stinks. But if Michigan State plays Pitt, who's 10-2, 2 weeks later, we don't give a damn about it.
Yeah.
So that is nuts to me.
That's crazy to me as well. But I know another spot. If you wanted to watch some of these bowl games, Sawyer, you wanted to get down, you wanted to watch some of these bowl games, maybe have a beverage or two.
Oh, I've got the place for you.
Where's that?
You can go right on down to the Folding Warehouse. They got plenty of TVs. They'll probably have all the games on this weekend, You can go up to bars. They got 2 full-size bars on both sides of the warehouse, so it's easy to access drinks. Plenty of lanes. You can make corporate parties, family events, just get together with some friends. The owner and the creator of Folding is there all the time, walking around, teaching how to play, doing stuff. They have locations in Indianapolis, right here in Hamtramck. My favorite part is the $2 mystery beer. I've done it twice. I've rolled the dice twice, spent $4 on it, got myself a PBR in an Old Milwaukee. Fantastic. Cannot go wrong. Braylon Edwards got himself a Colt 45. So, it's just straight hitters inside the mystery machine. You never go wrong when you get there, so you got to go. You can have food brought in. You can Uber Eats like Joik likes to do. You can bring your own food in. If you're not there, you're just not doing it right. So go on over to foldingwarehouse.com or go check out the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck. We got T-Foss on the desk, Neil Rule in here today. We got Sam in the booth, and I'm on the 1s and 2s pressing my buttons, and this is Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Off and running here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Uncle Terry Foster in the house. DMAC and Joik will be back after the new year. And we're talking Michigan State-Pitt. And I'm curious to get where everybody stands, even the Michigan State fans in particular. I don't want to, because you care about the game because you're a Michigan State fan and Michigan State's playing. So by default, you care about the game. But my main question is, are you going to be upset if they don't win? Are you going to be overjoyed if they do win? It's not like, too, that they don't have capable people behind Kenneth Walker. That they got guys behind Kenneth Walker that have had success in the past. Peyton Thorne is playing. If you're Michigan State, if you're a Michigan State fan, I think you expect to win this game, right?
Right. And you have to understand this. Kenneth Walker had 4 games this year below 60 yards rushing. Michigan State still won those games. So somebody else, whether it was on defense or the wide receivers or their quarterback Peyton Thorne, had to show up and show out so Michigan State could continue winning football games. It wasn't like they did it with trick plays and mirrors and smoke and that kind of stuff.
No, they were good along at some point of the trip. Rack also says, however, to me, I'm interested in this game as a Michigan fan just because no one would have predicted State would be in this position at the start of the season. And there's that element to it, too, as well. Rob J., you knew this was going to get in there because you can't have this discussion without this popping in there. Rob J., Sparty needs to take the Michigan game refs with them. So there is that.
Of course.
Yeah. You knew it. You knew that it was going
Michigan State never beats Michigan. It's always the refs, fluke play, weird stuff. So they never beat them legitimately on the field.
Right. Benji the Goat says, you got to see it from the outside looking in. Other fans don't know your team well enough to care about Michigan State with no Walker. Same for Pitt fans and no Kenny Pickett. And that is true. We get very geocentric here, T-Foss. That's the way we work, and we think the way we think is the way everybody thinks in America. And make no mistake, while we're talking about the storyline here, and I think that the storyline isn't what happens on a football field, the storyline is in the narrative of Michigan State because this game has a lot to do with the narrative, T.
Right,
Foss.
but I'm looking at a game right now.
The Duke's Mayo Bowl is underway.
The Duke's Mayo Bowl is like, who cares? But down in that area, North Carolina against South Carolina, that's probably huge because they hate each other. The two states are right there, and North Carolina thinks South Carolina is full of rubes.
And your future Lions quarterback, Sam Howell.
That's right,
quarterback for North Carolina.
You got to watch him.
So everybody lock in. Can we just simulcast the? You think ESPN would care?
That would be awesome.
Every time North Carolina has the ball, just tap in.
No, how about this? Every time Sam Howell throws a pick, we'll go right in and say, there's the future Lion.
But I did see there on the pregame though they did talk about the fact that 4.5 gallons of Duke's Mayo will be dumped on the winning coach, and I'm looking at Mac Brown, who was the longtime coach. Do you see that throw by Sam Howell right there,
that.
T. Foss?
He's the man.
Locked in. That's a laser beam.
Can't wait to see him at Ford Field. But you know what? It's not a bad thing if you have hair. If they put that Duke's Mayo on you, you can use his hair gel.
Yeah.
Get yourself a new hairdo.
But I was just looking at Mac Brown, though, longtime coach of the Texas Longhorns. But won huge games during his tenure there. Now he's a coach at North Carolina. And I think North Carolina is a double-digit favorite in this game. Now he's a coach at North Carolina, and he's about to have 4.5 gallons of mayonnaise dumped on him if he wins the game. What do you think's going through his mind? He's like, how did I get here?
Well, you know what? Sometimes you have to be a fool to placate the people in bowl games. The bowl games, I tell you what, there's a lot of reasons that we don't respect bowl games. Yes, because people are opting out. But the other thing is the college football playoffs. And the other is the ridiculous bowls that we're playing now. The Duke's Mayo Bowl, the Jimmy Fallon Los Angeles Bowl. What's it, the Gasparilla, whatever. When I was a child, I'm going to go back in the day, the most ridiculous bowl was the Blue Bonnet Bowl. The Blue Bonnet Bowl sounds like a New Year's Six now today.
What about the California Raisin Bowl?
The California Raisin Bowl.
The last bowl that Eastern Michigan won.
That's right. The California Raisin Bowl. What else? We started getting
the Poulon Weed Eater Independence Bowl.
Right.
That was Michigan State played LSU in that one year. Kevin Falk played for LSU in that game.
Big game.
It was a big game. Forever Trick says, I'm a State fan here, excited to see how we game plan without knowing K9 is out. That being said, I can't stand to see this game being an L. And I do think that. I think that Forever Tricks, I think is very representative of a lot of fans to where you kind of ho-hum this thing, as you like to say, T-Foss. You kind of ho-hum this thing. But in the moment, when the game goes on, I think things will change. And Michigan State fans, you'll see it on social media. You'll see it on Twitter tonight. And they'll be locked in. They will.
But, Twitter's not the real world.
I know.
That's the fringe people who are going to tweet about anything because that's what they do. But for the most part, it's just different. If this was 20 years ago, I think the interest level would be higher. Another thing is the opponent, Pitt. Who cares about Pitt?
Well, and this is summed up here. Daniel Gray says it's hard to take Pitt seriously with a loss to Western Michigan.
That's right. That's true. And the other thing, I thought would be the sexy thing about this would be the who's supposed to be the next Spartan coach is coaching Pitt and Narduzzi.
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought that he was the reason Michigan State was good, not Mark D'Antoni. Oh.
Rack says Mac Brown said he'd take a frying pan to the head, frying pan to the face just as long as they win the game. Patty Grimes, and this is gathering a lot of steam. The Woodward Sports Bowl.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That would work. Now, Ford Field? No. Woodward Sports. We're not that big time yet. That's going to be
Wisner Stadium.
Nah, it'd be a Wayne State, Adams Field.
Wisner Stadium, T-Foss. Let's go to Pontiac. Let's take it to the Yak.
Wisner Stadium is a dump now. All it is a football field and rickety stands. People would hurt themselves.
Maybe we should do it. MSU Detroit fan says T-Foss, the Bluebonnet Bowl, that's now the Texas Bowl.
Okay. Good.
So that's what happened to it. No, but again, I'm curious. Gaylord Hotels Bowl. Now everyone's going through all the bowl games and Faygo flavors. That's our audience. That's what they do.
Yep.
That's where they live. That's who they are. And I love it, T-Foss. That's what I'm here for. The Fish Bowl presented by Woodward Sports. I kind of like that one too.
That works. Yeah,
I kind of like that one too.
Just don't have it at Wisner Stadium.
How do you see this going tonight for Michigan State? I know this is like a total reach, total crapshoot or whatever. How do you see this going tonight for Michigan State, Pitt?
It depends on if they are motivated for this game. I see no reason why Michigan State shouldn't be able to run the ball. But I think now with no K9 that they're going to show the world / Michigan fans that Michigan State can pass the ball too. Now they have deep threats. Reed is a deep threat, and he's a very talented receiver who I'm not going to say he can take over a game like K9, but he can affect a game. And if they have Naylor, I see no reason why Michigan State shouldn't be able to throw the football.
Now Pitt has the number 6 rushing defense in the nation. They're giving up under 3 yards per carry. Okay. So, I mean, you know, they can stop the run to some degree. Now, that's subject to your interpretation of the schedule they played, because I said that with college football earlier, where a lot of times you get these big-name teams, Alabama, Michigan, all of them, where essentially they have a 3-game schedule. You know, you play a couple MAC teams, or if you're Alabama, you play Furman or whoever. And you really only end up playing 3 or 4 truly capable teams of doing a lot. And I would imagine Pitt has kind of had that same story. We talked about the fact, you know, they did play Western Michigan earlier this year. So, you know, as far as Pitt goes, they can stop the run, at least on the surface. So it will be interesting to see how things shake out for Pitt, what they're able to stop Michigan State on the ground and all those things. It's just, for me, on the surface, South Carolina, though, 69-yard touchdown to take the lead over North Carolina and Sam Howell. So a little chicanery, too. I do like all the trick plays you see in bowl season.
Well, what do you have to lose?
Nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
If you just don't lose like 10 bowls in a row. You can lose one. So you may as well just let it roll.
Let it roll, no question.
They should have Dan Campbell coach every bowl team. And just say, let's just go for the kneecaps.
Let's do it. But when we come back, we got to get into it too. Michigan, Georgia. As we said, we're not on the air tomorrow for New Year's Eve. Woodward Sports will be, however. The Orange Bowl pregame show, Braylon Edwards, Stick, and Adam from 5:30 to 7:30 right here from the Woodward Sports studio. But we'll get T-Foss's take on it. I'll do a deeper dive into it. It's time, guys. Get it in. Michigan, Georgia, the College Football Playoff National Championship semifinals. Getting it on tomorrow night on New Year's Eve. The television ratings will be disappointing. I already know that, but let's hope the game isn't. We'll be back with all that and more. But I know if you're going to be watching the game, T-Foss, and say it's New Year's Eve, so you're already going to be feeling it, what would be a good play in your estimation?
Well, a good play would be slipping in the Gypsy Vodka Bowl.
Yes.
How about that? You know, it has 50 different formulas, and it's a great way to bring in 2022. Gypsy Vodka is the best tasting vodka, smooth this vodka on the market. So, you know, why drink that rough stuff when you're bringing in a new year? If you
I agree.
Drink something smooth, we may have a good year finally. So
We're
here's
due.
what you do. We're due. Gypsy is gluten-free, corn distilled, 6 times used in artesian spring water. Support our local brothers and sisters here from Michigan. Try a bottle today. Ask for it by name, Gypsy Vodka, and it's a cool-looking bottle. As always, of course, drink responsibly. We want you around for 2022 listening to our show and enjoying the Gypsy Vodka Bowl.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
On and poppin', Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, the very esteemed Terry Foster. Uncle Terry in the house. Story time with T. Foss coming up in less than an hour, people. Make sure you stick around for that. Give me the sauciness scale on a scale of 1 to 10.
The one that I'm not going to tell? Well, you jog my memory of something that happened. If I was going to tell about the greatest trade never made, but if you want some juicy stuff at the Tay Bar, that one's a solid 8.5.
I don't think I have to take that to the chat threads or social media or anything. I think I know what the people want on that one, T-Foss. So yeah, I think we're going with the latter.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I'm going to switch gears then.
Absolutely. Everyone's talking in the YouTube chat thread. I don't know how the Faygo flavors came to be, but whatever. It's either rock and rye or you're wrong. That's it. And that's my statement on that. And we'll move on.
Rock and rye, I didn't like that.
Why? What one do you like, T-Foss?
Red Pop. I was a Red Pop guy. And my second flavor was orange.
See,
except it made my lips look orange. I look like a girl.
Yeah. I'm rock and rye, as I said, and then second for me is grape.
Okay.
Orange is very solid. Very solid, no doubt. I agree with that. After you did the Gypsy Vodka, Stephen Baker says Gypsy Vodka and Tahitian Treat Faygo. I would imagine that's a fruit punch-esque type thing.
But the only thing about the Tahitian Treat is kind of weird. It has like little floaties on the bottom of it. It does, seriously. It's got floaties on the. Now it's not like from someone's mouth. It's just I think that's the Tahitian Treat. They can't totally liquefy it.
That probably
so
could
floaties.
Be it. Yeah, there's floaties in there. Yeah, and I could see why that would be visually unappealing. I'll leave it at that.
But it was good.
It was. It was. There's certainly no doubt about that. But T-Foss, we got to set it in stone, and we got to do really a deep dive into this football game. And I think because there's so many different angles for the Michigan-Georgia game, just on the field, T-Foss, I think that this game represents a lot too off the field as you look at what the case will be for Michigan, what's on the line for Michigan. Conversely, we don't think about this a lot. There's a ton on the line for Georgia as well because they've been knocking on the door for a while. Kirby Smart wants to break through and cash in that national title. But, I mean, just to you, T-Foss, because you got your finger on the pulse of this stuff, as far as what is the biggest storyline to this game to you? Be it on the field, be it off the field, be it Harbaugh. What's the biggest storyline that sticks out to you?
Biggest storyline or the biggest possibility for this game is instead of Michigan saying it's a national power, it can become a national power if it beats Georgia and reaches the championship game. That, to me, was signified, you know what? Michigan, at least for now, is a national champion, or not a national champion, but a national power. It's something that Michigan people have been saying for years and years. Oh, Michigan is one of the elite, blah blah blah, and it hasn't been. Now you can prove it. To me, that's what I'm looking for. And before the season began, if you told me Michigan was going to be in the semifinal, or Michigan State, or anybody else in the Big Ten, I said they're going to get mollywopped. But now I feel that it's going to be a competitive game. Michigan has legit players. They have a different attitude. I like the assistant coaches, the way that they have these guys a little bit more relaxed. And Jim Harbaugh, sometimes you have to be scared to get right. And I think Jim Harbaugh, for many years, is like, I'm Jim Harbaugh. I can do whatever I want here, and everybody's going to love me, and at least the Michigan fans will love me. They'll support me and everything and just say what a great guy I am. But when they reduced his salary and said we need change around here, that scared him. He started to listen to people again because Jim Harbaugh, you know, he thought he's the smartest guy in the room. I don't need to listen to anybody. I'm Jim Harbaugh. I'm great. But now sometimes you need to be humbled. And the great thing about Jim Harbaugh is he was humbled, and he may have been humbled into greatness. We'll find out Friday night.
And you look at Georgia, Michigan, and by the way, on MyBookie.ag, as we're live from the MyBookie studios here on Woodward Sports for Big D Energy. Right now, Georgia, a 7.5 point favorite. That is minus 105. Michigan plus 7.5. That's minus 115. So that tells me the next move is Michigan down to a flat 7. So, and we knew this, right, T-Foss? I mean, Michigan has a huge backing, certainly in the betting world. They do. And Georgia opened up. I remember when the game, that night that Michigan beat Iowa, Georgia was a 9.5, someplace a 10-point favorite. So, I mean, the sentiment has been, and I think you'll see this will be a hard close on the Michigan line, as we'll see that line continue to shrink. Over under a 45 right now, shaded towards the over a little bit. The next move in that will be, up to 45.5, which you see in bowl season. I mean, no over-unders really. Nobody ever takes unders in a bowl game. That's just the way that it works.
Right.
But you bring up an interesting point to me, and I'm curious. Motown Cool says, T-Foss, I don't know anyone who said that in the last 10 to 12 years about Michigan, that they're a national power. T-Foss, you and I have done this a long time, man. Everyone always says that.
Yeah, they do. That's why Michigan is on national TV. And even though the results aren't there, it's coming. It's always coming. Every year, Michigan is favored to beat Michigan State. And guess what? Michigan State has won more times than Michigan has. I think the Michigan fans, all they need to do, if we just beat Ohio State, we're right back. Well, they beat Ohio State. And when the season begins, Michigan is almost always ranked in the top 10. That's a national power. Now, the thing that I found curious, the 2 years where Michigan wasn't really ranked is their two best years. In 1997, preseason, Michigan was not ranked at all. They won a national championship. This year, Michigan started 14th. Now they're in the national semifinals. Michigan is always overrated in preseason polls because people think this is going to be the year. People think it's a national power. And that's why Michigan is always overranked almost always overranked in national preseason polls because people still view them as a national power.
And my kind of stance on that, and we'll get into the X's and O's part of it, because there are some intriguing storylines here, rushing attack versus rushing defense, all of that. But for me, I think there's a faction of Michigan fans, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, T-Fuss, you tell me if you think I'm wrong. I think there's a faction of Michigan fans that are just happy the way things are right now. Hey, there's relief they got in the playoff. Whatever happens, happens. And they're cool with it. Obviously, they don't want to get blown out or anything like that. But I think that there's just a sense of relief that they have that Michigan is in the playoff, like Michigan State got in the playoffs. So now Michigan State fans can't hold that over our head. I think there is a degree to that.
That is. Spartans could always say, hey, you need directions to Indy? Because you've never been there. Well, you can't say that anymore. Or, hey, wouldn't it be nice to go to the semifinal college football? So we've been there. You haven't. But that disappears. I think that means a lot to Michigan fans. But I also think that Michigan has not had high expectations like Alabama or LSU or Georgia. Even back in the bowl days, it was let's win the Big Ten and try to win the Rose Bowl. And they never talked national championships, and that was all that mattered to them. Michigan didn't talk national championships even when the college football playoffs changed. And I don't think they look at winning a championship this year because the big bad bear is there, Alabama.
Yeah, and D. Smitty says, Michigan got over the hump by beating Ohio State and winning the Big Ten. Now they have to show they belong with the big boys of college football. And I found, Terry, especially this year in doing this show, the disconnect for me and what I value, and this is up to the individual, the budgets, all of it. They have it all. They should be there regularly. I would expect them to be there regularly. So for me, the disconnect I have, and I can't relate to that faction of fan that is very happy to be there. And I'm kind of curious to size all this up with all you guys to see where it is for Michigan just in that for me to solidify what you did this year, because, and I don't want to hear, if it's a close game, I'm good with that. It's the same. If you don't win, T-Foss, you don't win. And you know what it is? Especially if you don't get back there the next year. And this is the expectation part of it with national powers, T-Foss. This isn't the Big Ten. This isn't any of that stuff. The expectation when you're a national power is you compete there all the time, like Clemson and Dabo Swinney, like Alabama. If you want to be amongst that elite, then there is no, we played a close game and that was all right. That's all right for me. You know what it is if you lose to Georgia? To me, you know what it is? It was a down year for Ohio State. If you don't come back and do it again next year and be in the mix again next year, that's what it'll be. When I look back, and I'll say, wow, that was just a down year for Ohio State.
With that said, I could be totally